When did a random side quest traumatize you for life? When I got busted selling Galaxy gas in the school bathrooms last month, I thought my life was over. The judge gave me 60 hours of community service at the local elementary's after-school program instead of juvie. I had to wear this bright orange vest that basically screamed delinquent and help watch kids from 3 to 6 every day. On my first day, this mom rushed up to me looking desperate. She had dark circles under her eyes and kept checking her phone like she was late for something important. She pointed to this skinny kid sitting alone on the swings and grabbed my arm. "Please keep an eye on Kaysen," she said. "He has a really hard time making friends." I told her of course I would. What else was I supposed to say with my probation officer watching from across the playground? Kaysen was one of those kids who seemed to shrink into himself. He had these thick glasses that were always sliding down his nose and wore the same Pokemon hoodie every single day. While the other 4th graders ran around playing kickball or tag, Kaysen sat by himself reading manga or drawing in his beat-up notebook. I started sitting next to him during snack time. At first he barely looked at me, but after a few days he started showing me his drawings. The kid was actually really talented. He drew these elaborate dragons and warriors that looked like they could be in a real comic book. I told him they were cool, and his whole face lit up like Christmas morning. By the second week, Kaysen was following me around like a shadow. He'd help me set up the sports equipment and clean up after arts and crafts. While we worked, he'd tell me about his favorite anime shows and video games. The other kids still ignored him, but at least he wasn't completely alone anymore. One afternoon, we were putting away the kickballs when Kaysen stopped and stared across the playground. This kid named Quincy was practicing kicks against the wall. Quincy was basically a 4th grade athlete superstar. He could kick a ball clear across the field and always got picked first for every game. "You okay?" I asked Kaysen. His face turned bright red and he mumbled something I couldn't hear. Then he looked up at me with these huge eyes behind his glasses. "Can I tell you a secret?" he whispered. "Promise you won't tell anyone?" I promised, even though keeping 4th grader secrets wasn't exactly in my job description. "I think I like boys instead of girls," he said so quietly I almost missed it. "And I really like Quincy." My brain kind of froze for a second. This kid was trusting me with something huge and I had no idea what to say. I remembered being his age and having crushes that felt like the end of the world, but this was different. This was complicated in ways I didn't know how to handle. "That's okay," I finally said. Liking someone is never wrong. Kaysen's shoulders relaxed like he'd been holding his breath, and he grabbed my sleeve with this desperate look. "Do you think Quincy could like me back?" I watched Quincy nail another perfect kick and honestly I had no idea. The kid was popular and confident and probably had never thought about Kaysen once, but Kaysen was looking at me like I had all the answers, so I told him we'd figure it out together. Over the next few days, I turned into some kind of 4th grade detective. I'd casually bring up Kaysen when I was near Quincy to see his reaction. I watched how Quincy acted during group activities to see if he paid attention to any boys differently. Kaysen would give me these hopeful looks across the playground, and I'd give him subtle thumbs up or down. The investigation wasn't going great. Quincy seemed totally focused on kickball and Pokemon cards. He wasn't mean to Kaysen, but he didn't notice him either. Kaysen started getting more anxious as the week went on. He'd draw pictures of him and Quincy as anime characters going on adventures together, then tear them up before anyone could see. Finally, on Thursday, Kaysen marched up to me with this determined look I'd never seen before. His hands were shaking, but his chin was up. "I'm going to tell him," he announced. "Today, after kickball." I tried to talk him out of it. Quincy was surrounded by his friends all the time and rejection would be brutal. But Kaysen shook his head. "You're always so confident even though everyone knows you got arrested," he said. "I want to be brave like you." That hit different. Here I was, a screw-up doing forced community service, and this kid thought I was brave. I couldn't bring myself to crush that. The day felt like it lasted forever. Kaysen could barely concentrate during homework time and kept looking at the clock. When the final kickball game started, he stood on the sidelines, psyching himself up. I watched from across the playground, feeling like I was going to throw up. 6 o'clock came and parents started arriving. Kaysen's mom rushed in looking frazzled as always. She signed the pickup sheet and looked around. "Where's Kaysen?" she asked. My stomach dropped. I scanned the playground but didn't see him anywhere. His backpack was gone from the cubbies. "I thought he left with you already," I said. Her face went white. We ran around checking every corner of the school grounds while calling his name. Other staff members joined the search. His mom was making panicked phone calls, and I felt like the world's biggest failure. Then I remembered Kaysen mentioning the bathroom earlier. I sprinted to the boys' room and pushed open the door. Kaysen was crumpled on the floor with blood covering his face. Full story on channel link below.